Today, I'm going to show you how to create Beguiling Bubbles Love Potion. The things we'll need to create our Beguiling Bubbles is a 1 glass bottle, and I opted for this Bale and Trigger bottle. It came in a pack of 8 on Amazon, and if you don't need that many, you could use a recycled bottle, you could use an old liquor bottle, anything like that, but I just thought these would be a fun shape and size for this particular potion. I'll put a link to it in the description if you're interested in getting it for yourself. We are going to use some rubbing alcohol. You could also use distilled water and a tiny bit of glycerin. We're going to use a funnel for filling. I'm going to use a beaker for filling. We're going to use some red and blue food coloring, and I'm using the liquid kind today. I have some pearlized white mica powder as well as a silver mica powder. I have an assortment of faux pearl beads over here. We're going to be using a red and champagne sealing wax hot glue sticks and their hot glue guns. We're going to be using some black twine and scissors as well as some spoons for our mica powder. And finally, we will need our labels printed on sticker paper, and the link for this is in the description down below. Let's get started. Would you like a chance to win a monthly potion bottle? Then consider supporting me over on Patreon. All of my patrons have a chance to win a monthly potion bottle. Link is in the description down below. Patreon not your speed? We also have membership here on YouTube. You get special emojis and badges just for being a member that you can use in the comment section. Link down below. The first thing we're going to do is put some of our faux pearl beads into our bottle. And I picked these up at the Dollar Tree, and there are 3 different sizes. And these were in the floral aisle where they have like floral foam, floral wire, ribbons, things like that. But there are the 3 different sizes here. We have the 1 centimeter, 1.4 centimeters, and the 1.2 centimeters. So we're just going to put an assortment of these into the bottom of the vase. And I don't want to put a ton of them, but enough that it has the bubbles in the bottom. Okay, and I think that's more than enough. And what I liked about these particular beads is they're more like a vase filler, so they don't have a hole. Now, if you couldn't find some like this where they're more like a vase filler without the hole, you definitely could use just regular pearl beads that have the little hole. You're not going to notice it that much in your potion. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add our rubbing alcohol to the bottle. And I'm only going to fill it up to there for right now because then we're going to use this beaker to add some more alcohol to with our mica powder, just so you guys can see the pour-in, so you can see a little bit of the color shift we get. But if you're making this at home, you can do it all in one jar. Don't feel obligated to do it into separate containers. So I'm going to use some of my red food coloring here, and I'm going to do about 3 or 4 drops here. I think we're going to do 4. And then I'm going to do 1 tiny, tiny drop of blue to make it a darker, almost maroony purple red color so that it's a little bit deeper and just kind of has a more vintage vibe. Mix this up. And it will appear a little darker here than it will in the end because we're going to add some more alcohol that won't be colored with that mica powder. But I think that's a great color. I think it looks really nice with our label that's got just a little bit of that deep pinky red color, and I think that'll kind of pick that up when it is settled, so then that way it'll kind of tie in. All right, let me move this off to the side for a second. So now we're going to add our alcohol to this container here. Again, you don't need to do it in a separate container. It just looks really nice so that you guys can kind of see how it'll shift before it actually has a chance to settle. So I'm going to start with that much. I can always add some more alcohol if I need to. And I'm first going to add some of this pearlized white mica powder. It's got like a little bit of a pinky red throw to it. I'll try to put a link in the description to a similar one. So I don't know how well you guys can see, but we get a really beautiful pinky, purpley green shimmer with this. And then I'm adding the silver so that it will make the transition a little bit more light in color, because the white is pretty much just transparent. So yes, it lightens the red a little bit, but not as much as the silver does, which is why we're doing a combination of both of them. So we've got our pearlized white in there. I have some silver mica powder here. And we're going to add that and swirl that in. And as you can see, that lightens that up quite a bit, so that's going to be what helps to lighten our overall color of our potion here. And I think I want to add just a tiny bit more of the white so that we get some more of that beautiful pearlized shimmer. Okay, and I think that just added just enough of that shimmer to give us the look we're going for. So before I pour this in, I just want to make sure everything is good and mixed so we don't have any of that mica settled on the bottom. And then we are going to add it to our red we've already made. And I think that's a pretty good amount for this one. I might put just a little bit more in. We're going to close it up and give it a good shake and just see. So as you can see, those pearls just are so fun as they dance and help mix the mica powder. And we get this really awesome light pinky red color as the mica mixes with that dark red. And then as this sits, all of that mica will settle and you'll be back to that deep red color that we started with. And I do think I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit more here. And don't worry about this red rubber portion at the top of the bail and trigger. You're not going to see it once we do our wax seal drippings on there. Okay, so as you guys can see, this just kind of picks up those colors in there even more. So while it looks great when it's dark, it looks even better when it's mixed up. And then we have our bubbles at the bottom that are able to rise and fall as we shake it up. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add some of our black cording to kind of tie in the black details of our label onto the bottle. And I'm going to have the cording kind of go up under this, so I'm going to unhook it for the moment. And we're going to start on the back. And I'm going to wrap this one just like I have hundreds of other bottles before. And now we can go ahead and snap that down all the way. And we've got our really great wrapping underneath that bail and trigger. Okay, so for the next part, we're going to be using some sealing wax hot glue sticks. So these are hot glue sticks that are made of wax, specifically for making wax seals or wax stamps on envelopes and things like that. But I find that they are really great to use for the drippings on the bottle. They drip much, much quicker and much faster. So you do have to be a little careful. I try to use these on a low temperature hot glue gun. That's why I like the Surebonder and the Gorilla Glue guns, because they have the high-low temp on them. So then that way you can adjust it to the low temp so that it doesn't heat up too quickly and come out way too fast and go all over the place. So for this one, I want to do a dual sealing wax on there. So we're going to first go in with some of this deep maroony pearlized red, which will kind of mimic the base color, and then we're going to go over top of it with a champagne, which I think will just kind of tie in both of the colors again of the label and give it kind of a different vibe. Okay, we're going to see if this is ready, and it looks like it's close. Okay, yeah, there we go. So the first thing we're going to do is get just a little bit of drips kind of down the side, because again, this is going to be our base layer, and then we're going to go over it with the champagne. And right now, my main objective is just to cover up that red rubber piece of our bale and trigger bottle. And if at any time while you're making these, your drips aren't going the way you'd like them to, a lot of times you can take a heat gun to it and it will help them kind of move along. But I feel like most of these are pretty good. I just want to make sure we have a few longer ones so that when we do our champagne, it can kind of drip around it, but also have some of the red peeking out from underneath of it. I think that looks pretty good for the red. So now we're going to get our champagne going. Okay, we're going to see if our champagne colored gun is ready to go. Okay, and I think, yeah, I really like the effect we got with that. I think it just kind of adds a little bit of interest. I love that we'll still have a little bit of clear up here so you can see some of the shaking happening, but it just kind of starts to drip down, and I think that's a really cool look. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put our labels on, and one of the things I really liked about this bottle is that it's got these little ridges down here, so our label will go right above that. So again, just like I always do, I printed this on sticker paper, and I went around the outside edge with a matching marker. It just helps give our labels a more finished look. We have our front label, and on this one I actually made a back label as well. Now, you don't have to put this on if you don't want to, but it kind of has some instructions and uses, and it has that some of the ingredients contained maybe pearl dust, powdered moonstone, and rose petals. And it talks about love potions being highly dangerous and powerful. So, you know, we're just going to add this onto the back. Okay, so we've got our instruction label on the back. Again, that's optional, but I just thought it kind of looked more like a product you'd find in Diagon Alley, ready to buy off the shelves. So at that, I think we have our Beguiling Bubbles. And as you can see, the mica does settle at the bottom, but when we shake it up, all of that beautiful mica powder swirls in there, and those bubbles jump up and down, which I think is just a super fun effect. This will be a great addition to our potion and prop collection we've been making along the way. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.